we're joined by our colleagues here from the Federation, and we have our partner orgs from Homecrest, Ming Kwan Center, SAPNA NYC, CPC, KCS. So thank you all for being here. And I'm going to pass the baton to my colleague Ayang, who's the director of programs, and she's going to go over a little bit about the rise and why this is so important and give you a little bit more context as to what we're trying to do and what this is all about. So, Ayang, if you can.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, members of press. I think hopefully we'll do this more often. I know it's very difficult for our ethnic media partners to come out in person to these rallies and etc. But it's great to see you all today. Happy Pride Month also. We want to acknowledge also last month, May was AAPI Heritage Month. We just wrapped up with many public statements of support, recognition, and celebration of the AAPI communities and our culture and heritage. But when it comes to what our communities actually need, unfortunately, that goes beyond recognition and words and celebration. What we really need for our community is real investment and tangible funding that allows us and our community partner organizations to reach people on the ground and help everybody meet the scale of the moment that we live in today. And that's why we're gathering here today to call for City Council to continue funding and expand funding for the Asian Communities Legal Services Initiative, because our community partners and members on the ground have seen what this funding can do and how important it is in this critical moment today. As you all know, Asian immigrants make up nearly 30% of New York City's non-citizen population, but the organizations that serve these communities are severely under-resourced. At the same time, we're seeing a sharp increase in immigration enforcement. And between 2024 and 2025, arrests of Chinese immigrants increased by over 1,000%, and arrests of Bangladeshi immigrants rose at a similar rate. According to Documented New York, overall ICE arrests of Asians in New York have increased 600% under Trump administration. These numbers are not just a statistic, but it's real impact to our community that is blowing people out of their daily lives and creating real fear. Families are pulling away from food pantries and SNAP benefits and other essential services that they are entitled to because they are afraid of immigration enforcement. Our communities have seen a high rate of self-deportation, partly because our community members don't know where to turn to for help, let alone what their rights are. And this is happening at a time when the need is already incredibly high. Nearly 34% of Asian American and Pacific Islander New Yorkers live in or near poverty. And when it comes to senior population, that number rises to 45%. About 40% of low-income Asian households in New York rely on SNAP benefits for groceries, and more than 600,000 depend on Medicaid and other forms of public support. So when families are stepping back from these services and their entitled benefits out of fear, and also they face vagueness and fear about immigration enforcement, this doesn't just create a gap. It's actually putting the health and stability of our communities and the most vulnerable members of our communities at real risk. That is why we're calling for this investment from the council, because the RISE network, short for a Rapid Immigrant Support Empowerment Network, is a 15 Asian-led organizations in New York City that are serving more than 1.5 million Asian Americans who call New York home. We provide immigration legal referrals, know your rights education, case management, and rapid response in over 12 Asian languages. This is especially important when 43% of Asian New Yorkers have low English proficiency, and nearly 70% of AAPI seniors have limited English proficiency. Our current network is composed of organizations who are getting and requesting city funding for AAPI legal services. And with increased funding, we hope to expand this network to other areas of geography and work scope in fiscal year 27. Since January, our RISE partners have already served over 2,200 clients. And while this network is ready to expand, many providers are already at or near capacity. For some organizations in our network, this particular initiative is the only funding that specifically supports legal services work for them, unless a larger organization has some other state grant that they have access to, which is not the case for most of us. That's why we are asking the council to increase the legal services for AAPI Communities Initiative to $3.5 million in fiscal 27 in the adopted budget. The reason we need a dedicated funding for AAPI Communities Legal Services is because our community turns to trusted community-based organizations in the areas where they can encounter misinformation about enforcement, benefits, and eligibility. And sure, there are a lot of larger organizations out there that do give legal assistance, but they don't have that kind of direct touch with our community members that are living in fear day to day today. And you will hear later from our member organizations today that a lot of people who come into the RISE network and end up getting legal services, actually their first touch point at these organizations were through other social services that are provided. We, therefore, are best situated to walk through the applications and translation support and giving that kind of linguistically and culturally appropriate support that buys trust and acknowledgement that these organizations are already there, and the knowledge that our community members do have a right for legal representation. They do, and other rights that they may not have been able to learn about before. So I'm going to pause here and invite our community members to start speaking. And so I will pass over to Kevin again for a minute.
The next 10 minutes, we're going to have our partner organizations here share some direct impacts that they have seen on the ground. And all of these folks who will be speaking, they don't really need intros. You've all seen them in the community. They're on the ground. They've been doing the work. So it's really great. And we, again, just want to extend the gratitude and appreciation for you all being here. What I would like to do and ask for all of our speakers, and we'll start with you, Carlene, at CPC, is that if you could just share the demographic location that you generally serve, to provide some context in terms of how big of a reach our RISE network partners are, and I think that would be helpful for the conversation. But yeah, I'll pass it to you, Carlene, and then I'll take it after.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Carlin Cohen, pronouns they, them. I'm the Chief Policy and Public Affairs Officer at CPC. Thank you so much to Asian American Federation and to the RISE Network for putting on this press briefing. So at CPC, we serve over 80,000 New Yorkers in all 5 boroughs each year. Our primary languages are Chinese and Spanish, although we serve community members from 40 different countries speaking 25 different languages. And like many of the other community-based organizations on this briefing, we have seen a huge increase in the need for legal services. And the RISE Network has provided support where there has been none before for Asian American community-based organizations and immigrant-serving organizations. The need that we have seen is absolutely staggering, from community members that are scared to leave their houses and their homes or send their children to school, to community members that have been coming in asking if they need to drop off their SNAP and Medicaid for fear of how it'll impact their immigration status. We've seen families being torn apart through detention by ICE, and the wait list for legal services grows and grows, and it is incredibly hard to find services in languages that our community members speak. Thanks to the RISE Network and thanks to the funding provided for this really important initiative, we were actually able to bring in our first in-house attorney that speaks Mandarin and Spanish and provide in-house legal support. In just the last year of the RISE Network, we've been able to do Know Your Rights trainings for over 2,000 community members. We've been able to do over 300 legal consultations and take on 100 cases. One community member, just to share one of many examples, one of our community members, one of our children in one of our daycare programs, father was detained, and of course we actually found out in the hardest way when somebody wasn't there to pick up our kiddo from school. And we were able to come together again through the support of the Rise Network to support the entire family. And to me, that's exactly why putting these services in community-based organizations is so essential. Because it wasn't just helping track down the father in detention, it wasn't just filing a habeas petition for him, finding a Fujianese speaker to work with him directly and coordinate with ICE to get the case details. It was also helping the mom with her immigration application and making sure that she was actually in a safe position. It was providing extra mental health support for the kid who was having that experience as just a small child of having her family torn apart. And it was providing the extra food, the housing assistance, the place where where they could feel that there was a home for them, that only a community-based organization can really provide. And we had the good news recently that we actually won the father's case. We won his right to remain in the United States, and he's released back to his family. And that is only possible because of the Rise Network. But the reality is there is so much more work to do. We are actually, as I speak, our in-house attorney is working on a community member that was detained in Staten Island just yesterday. We filed a habeas petition and he's been transferred already. And so that is the work of the Rise Network. And that is why this funding is so critical. We're really grateful to Asian American Federation for their leadership on this, to the Rise Network partners, and to all of you for your advocacy. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing all that, Carlene. That's amazing. And again, this is just a testament to the work that you all been doing and what we need to continue to do, which is why it is so important that we need to ask for an increased funding. And with that, I do want to pass it to now Dia, who's the executive director at SEPNA. And again, Dia, if you could just share your geographic locations that you serve, that'd be super helpful. Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dia Basusen, Executive Director of SEPNA NYC. We serve largely the South Asian immigrant population, with over 90% of our community coming from Bangladesh. We are based in the Bronx, but we work citywide as well. I think one of the things, as we think about how this funding can assist our community, to acknowledge is that 70% of Bangladeshis in New York City are foreign born, and over 54% are low English proficient. When we look at the community that SEPNA serves, over 95% live below federal poverty levels. Over 90% have low digital literacy. And so you can imagine that a lot of these communities just aren't getting served in the traditional kind of sense of government services or agencies. And unless they have kind of trusted intermediaries like partners in the Rise Network, they actually don't get any services or information. So this RISE funding has been really crucial for us at SEPNA to both address kind of the changes that we're seeing because of the current administration. I think Ayang mentioned earlier, right, in Bangladeshi population, 1,000% increase in arrests, right? That's huge. Yet when you think about the face of the undocumented population in the US, people often don't think of the Bengali community. So resources aren't as easily available in Bengali. One of the first things we did when we started this work is to create the red cards in Bangla so that people could actually have them in their own language. And we're slowly seeing more awareness building and more resources available. But I think what remains is that our communities don't have access to lawyers. They don't even know where to ask for a lawyer. And so even though this funding at SEPNA has not, we have not actually hired a lawyer in-house, it's allowed us to do kind of the rapid response case management that's needed. It's allowed us to work with clients who we've built trust with over years. So this past kind of month alone, we've worked with 50 families to create safety plans, right? And that looks like creating and signing privacy releases so that congressional representatives can help them should they be detained. It's creating the parental designation forms for children, health proxy forms, and all those different forms that are all in English are very confusing for our community, and they don't even know that they need. So this RISE network, again, has allowed us to really create these plans in the chance that someone is detained, that they are not subject to kind of all the chaos that we know happens if they're not prepared. To give you kind of an example of someone we're working with right now, it's not only ICE detention, right, that is important when it comes to the RISE work, but we have a survivor right now that we're working with who came to us 3 years ago. She was pregnant, her husband had just left her, and she didn't know how to navigate anything in New York City. So we've worked with her over these 3 years. And now she's finally at the point where she can apply for citizenship. And when she went, the lawyer told her that she needs to write up her whole entire story of why she's not living with her husband, what happened in the domestic violence case, and all of that history, and submit it in order to file her application. Now, this is a woman who is suffering from postpartum depression and who has been a survivor of violence for years, and who also does not speak English. So she's not able to do this type of paperwork on her own. But together, just in the office this morning, our case manager was able to work with her to write up this support document that she needs so that she can actually submit and get her own legal status in this country that's not dependent on her abuser. So the RISE network has really allowed us to work with a myriad of different types of cases, ranging from ICE to survivors to just people who are struggling with legal needs that they're not getting met elsewhere. So again, we're really grateful to the investment in our communities, and it's just kind of the beginning of what we really need.
Great. Thank you so much, Dia, for your leadership and for your and to your team who's doing all the work right now. Now, moving on, I would like to introduce Joyce Wong, who is the program coordinator at KCS. And just to let folks know, this is being recorded, and it'll be transcribed and shared with you also. Please don't worry. But yeah, Joyce.
Hi, thank you for the introduction, Kevin. So like you said, my name is Joyce. I'm currently the program coordinator in the Immigration and Legal Department of KCS, Korean Community Services of Metropolitan New York. We're mainly headquartered in Bayside, and we serve community members all across New York State. And I'm very proud to represent KCS here today. So for more than 50 years, KCS has served as a trusted one-stop resource center for Korean, Chinese, and other AAPI communities across New York. So on a daily basis, we provide meals and home delivered food to more than 500 seniors. We connect families to healthcare and public benefits. We offer mental health counseling, workforce development, education programs, and also immigration legal services. So I wanted to thank the AAPI RISE Network funding. Due to that, KCS was able to expand our immigration legal services from approximately 250 clients to 300 clients this past year. So that's about a 20% increase in the service capacity. Through this funding, we also provided free and low-cost legal assistance to 300 immigrants. More than 86% of the cases involved critical immigration matters that directly affected lawful status, employment eligibility, healthcare access, and also family stability. So over half of our clients needed green card renewals, nearly 1/3 applied for US citizenship, and about 65% were seniors that were 60 years and older. So with that being said, behind every one of these numbers is actual real person. So for example, one of our clients, Mr. Kwan, he was at risk of losing both his legal documentation and his access to healthcare when his green card was expiring. So because he could not afford the filing fee, he had to face a choice between either maintaining his immigration status or protecting his health. So through the collaboration between the departments at KCS, the Public Health and Research Center, and the Immigration Legal Department, we were able to secure a full USCIS fee waiver for him, was able to renew his green card at no cost, which helped preserve both his legal status here in the States and also his medical coverage as well. Also, another story I wanted to share is we also helped another lawful permanent residents who found out that they had a government error on their green card, and through communicating with USAS on the phone and filing to correct the mistake and also obtaining a fee waiver, we were able to prevent any unnecessary financial hardship and also ensure that he was able to maintain his lawful status. So through these stories, it really just demonstrates why community-based organizations matter. Today, immigration cases are becoming more and more complex. Processing delays are increasing, language barriers continue. That prevents many immigrants from assessing the help that they need. So without these trusted organizations like KCS and also the AAF Rise Network, many of the families risk losing lawful status, employment opportunities, healthcare benefits, and also family unity. So
Right.
I wanted to say AAPI Rise funding is not just a grant, it's a lifeline. It strengthens community infrastructure, it expands access to justice, and ensures that immigrant families can live with dignity, security, and hope. So on
Right.
behalf of KCS and the hundreds of immigrant families we serve and we hope to serve in the future, thank you to AF and the AAPI Rise Network for investing in our communities and believing in the power of community-based organizations. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Joyce, and always welcome KCS for being trusted partners here. I'm gonna be a little bit of a bad cop, but I'm gonna try to stick without the time. But I'll give it to Lisa, Director of Social Services at Homecrest. So take it away, Lisa. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lisa Zhen. I'm Director of Social Services at Homecrest Community Services. We serve immigrant families and older adult and vulnerable residents across the Southern Poland. We are proud to be a part of the RISE network, thanks to the support to our partner AAF, and we secure the funding to provide the immigration services such as green card renewal assistance and naturalization and citizenship support, referral to legal services and translation assistance throughout the immigration process. So through the RISE funding, Homecrest served 350 clients in fiscal year 25. In fiscal year 26, from July 2025 through May 2026, we have already assist 555 clients with immigration-related cases, far exceeding our project target of 150 clients. The number of the immigration services provided has increased by 59% compared to the previous years. As an organization working on the ground directly with community members every day, we see the fear and uncertainty many individuals are experiencing due to immigration enforcement concerns and changes in federal policies, and many individual families are struggling to apply for public benefits because they are not sure how it might be affected the immigration status. That's what we seen on the ground on a daily basis. For example, I would like to share one of the powerful stories that highlights the impact of the immigration services that we serve through the RISE network fundings. A 71-year-old Mr. Xi, he needs to visit his 94-year-old mother in China. However, he faced a significant challenge. His green card has expired, and his new application was delayed. Without the validation of the documentation, he was unable to book the flight and worry about when he's going to see his mother next time. Especially, her mother is 94-year-old and is aging, and on the other side of the world, he does not know where to go, and feeling overwhelmed at the time and feeling like hopeless. So he turned to Homecrest for help. So one of our case manager from Sunset Park Center stepped immediately to help him out. She guided Mr. Xi through every single steps of the process of the green card renewal, and also try to get the legal documents to help him to support this case. She closely monitored the case and identified all those like missing identification notification from USCIS, and also rescheduled the appointment that he has been missed. To address the final hurdle, our case managers also work very closely with Congressman Goldman's office to help him to obtain emergency ADIT stamps, a critical document that would be allow Mr. Xi can go back to China with this while his green card still pending. He received his travel document within 2 weeks after we helped him 2 weeks ago. He's able to finally to get the legal document to visit his mom's in China. So this story's impact story is very successful that also posted on our social media platforms, as well as also published in the Chinese newspapers. That this will help raise awareness about the resources and available to the community, immigrants, seniors, individual families that we provide. With these fundings, we are grateful that to AAF partners and also the RISE Network for their continued support. With this funding, HomeQuest can be able to expand the immigration services, can help the community member to receive the resources and support and immigration-related services they need as well.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And now for pass it to Jubam at the Min Kwan Center.
I would like to briefly share actual case study we received and explain the importance of a rising fund. Recently, a client came to our organization seeking advice about obtaining lawful immigration status. He is basically undocumented immigrant raising 3 children with a genetic illness. Sadly, his youngest child passed away, and the rest of 2 children are in serious conditions. He approached us because he was being told by immigration broker saying they can help out him to obtain a green card immediately. So after reviewing his case, our staff attorney advised him the broker's approach are not appropriate, so he would need to wait until the oldest child to become eligible to petition for him. So that's only one case we have heard these days. We Min Kwan Center have witnessed a recent trend in terms of our immigration legal services. Because we face a highly challenging immigration climate right now, we have seen those vulnerable community members, particularly undocumented immigrants, desperately need help and guidance. So these individuals are vulnerable to those, fraud, committed by immigration broker or notorious. That's why the role of a community-based organization is so critical. The CBOs are able to provide culturally and linguistically appropriate services to those vulnerable community members they can trust. So I would like to emphasize one more time the importance of RISE funding. It's essential because it strengthens the capacity of CBOs to deliver these vital services to protect the immigrant communities from misinformation, unnecessary harm, and fraud. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chubam, and for the warm welcome. So I think in closing, I wanted to just provide 2 takeaways here, right? I think number 1 is that New York cannot claim to support AAPI communities without funding. the very organizations keeping families safe and informed, especially in a moment of rising enforcement and fear. And number two, immigration enforcement tactics have been changing fast, and our communities needs to evolve to that environment. So the RISE network, with the breadth of our geographic and demographic reach of the 15 member organizations, it allows our partners to share resources, activating a fast referral system to learn the latest policy changes and rise to the occasion to meet the rising demands. So I think it's so important for council to increase the funding. And again, we will make sure that all of these notes will be shared with you all. And for media folks who will love to connect with our partner org separately for the interview pieces, we're more than happy to connect you. So again, we're here and we'd love to connect with you. So please do not worry. And also, we do have another big event that we have upcoming is our June 11th City Hall advocacy effort for the same reason, asking the council to increase funding for this coalition and this work that we're doing. So on June 11th, we will be at City Hall steps. So we'll share more of those details to you separately, but please be on the lookout. And with that, I do want to give some space for the ethnic media to ask any questions they may have. But again, more than happy to connect with you separately if needed. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all to our partner organizations and our team members for setting this up. This is our first virtual presser that I've been part of. So excuse us if it wasn't super smooth sailing. But thank you all again, and we'll love to connect with you separately. So thank you.